Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabanz. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamers Pro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things. And I will see them. And today we got a show for you guys here today. But before we even get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to follow us on Instagram, the name of the channel is Dreamers Pro. You want to follow me on Instagram, my handle is CTABANZ. If you want today's full show before it comes out on YouTube, it is streaming for free in the Dreamers Pro podcast. I can barely think right now. I've been doing a lot of running around. But anyway, over the weekend, there was this kind of fireworks between Stephen A. Smith, who finally got fed up and responded to Jason Whitlock. And then Jason Whitlock did, I think he's done 2 shows responding back to Stephen A. Smith. But in the midst of all of this, Jason Whitlock then decided to respond to Shannon Sharpe. Now, Shannon Sharpe is coming off of the second most watched interview in the history of YouTube. His interview now with Cat Williams, the last time I checked, is at 48 million views, which was, I think, yesterday. So now it should be around 49 million views. So, I mean, it was the biggest thing this year in media, starting off the new year. And then Shannon Sharpe reacted to Stephen A. Smith's show, his hour-long show where he went at Jason Whitlock, which has about 1.5, 1.6 million views as of this present moment. Then Shannon Sharpe then starts talking about Jason Whitlock. Now, he's talking about him. He's not saying his name, but we all know who he's talking about. And funny enough, Chad Johnson goes, just say his name. What's the point of all of this? Sneak this and just say the man's name. But Shannon refused to. Well, whatever the case is, Jason Whitlock caught a whiff of what Shannon Sharpe had to say about him. And he responded to him, but the way he responded to him was in a very, very calculated way, in a way in which he got at Shannon Sharpe. He got at him. So for those of you who didn't hear what Jason Whitlock had to say about Shannon Sharpe, I want to quickly play his comments for you now, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Jason Whitlock had to say here.
Shannon Sharpe's position is that I could never do what he do or what he does. I could never live in his world. We could never play professional sports. And he's accurate. But what he doesn't understand is I could never do what he did. And so now that Shannon Sharpe and I are both in our 50s, what he did in his 20s and 30s, it's irrelevant. The things that he did in his 20s and 30s, I think me and Shannon are around the same age. And so when we were in our teenage years and 20s, I could do what Shannon Sharpe did in his teenage years and 20s. I played Division I college football. He played at Savannah State. He was more talented than playing at Savannah State, but because his grades and learning ability were limited at that time, he could only get into Savannah State. And so back when we were younger, I did what Shannon Sharpe did. Now, did I have as much football talent as Shannon Sharpe? Absolutely not. I mean, it's like I never got a sniff of the NFL. No one, I was never an NFL prospect. But neither is Shannon Sharpe now. He's not. He's 50 some odd years old. He's got replaced hips. So it doesn't matter what he used to do. I'm not jealous of him about what he could do. And, you know, I could never do what he did. He's right. I'm not jealous of that. He doesn't understand that he can never do what I do. And I'm not saying that to brag, but Shannon Sharpe's never going to be a journalist, ever. He has no interest in being a journalist. He doesn't need to be a journalist because journalism's not valued in this space the way that it used to be. And so it's could I do what Shannon Sharpe does now? Absolutely. I don't want to do it. I refuse. It's like the whole point of the Cat Williams interview clearly flew over Shannon's head. And this, again, is why I say he can't do what I do. He can't think critically. He can be entertaining, and I've given him credit for that. He is entertaining. He's worked on his broadcasting skills, and he's created an environment where other people who don't really think critically feel comfortable coming on his show and sharing their thoughts. I hats off to him. I've celebrated what he's doing and how he's transitioned, how much more I enjoy it than what he did at FS1. But I've made a choice because the things he's doing now, I think, are very easy. And Cat Williams went on Shannon Sharpe's show and basically for 3 hours explained what it is Shannon Sharpe does. And there are many people who picked up on the fact that Cat Williams was perhaps trolling or trying to send a bat signal to Shannon Sharpe. Like, hey, bro, in order to get the support from the industry, you have to be willing to sell out. You have to be willing to bend over. You have to abandon your godly beliefs. Anybody can do that. And Cat Williams, again, this is my interpretation and other people's interpretation, was telling Shannon, we know what you did to get here. And hats off for the work you've done and put in. This is enjoyable. But Shannon, we've all sat and watched a pro football player run around the country, promote stuff on his Instagram and social media feeds that his BFF is some out-of-the-closet gay male stylist. And we've watched y'all sit courtside at NBA games. We've watched you walk around with some little poodle or puppy like Paris Hilton. We've seen all of that. And Cat Williams was trying to say, like, hey, bro, don't take the deal.
So you heard what Jason Whitlock had to say. Here's the parts that stood out to me or what he said. He said, number one, when I was around your age, I could play collegiately. Obviously, I was not as talented as you to make it to the NFL. I wasn't. But he said in this present day, we're not talking about what we did in our youth, in our 20s or our 30s. We're now grown men in our 50s. And I was like, I didn't think about it that way. I didn't think about it that way. He makes an interesting point. Although the point Shannon Sharpe was making was these guys feel jealousy or feel alarmed or worried because I'm coming into their space doing what they're doing and, they couldn't do what I did. And then Jason Whitlock was like, no. You can't do what I do. And he basically described what he does. And then he took a shot at Shannon Sharpe's audience by essentially saying that these people are not critical thinkers. And he produces watered down content. And then that's the only way he's able to appeal to a wide range of people because a lot of people are not willing to think critically. I think that's what he said. Is that true? I don't think so. Although there is some truth to that. But there's that truth, anywhere else. A person who doesn't think critically could also stumble upon a Jason Whitlock show. But I 100% understand what he was saying. He was basically saying that Shannon Sharpe is making, not clickbait content, obviously, but content that doesn't involve a lot of thinking, where you're not really reasoning at a high level and it's just pure entertainment. And it's like, let's just talk about anything that's entertaining, no matter what the thing is. I think that's what he's saying there. What I'm surprised is that Jason Whitlock is taking on all comers. He ain't running away from nobody now. Some people have said he's running away from this thing. I was listening to a situation with Valuetainment. Patrick David and those guys said he left. He didn't come to the set. So maybe some people are like, that's not true. He does run away at a certain time. I don't know. But whatever the case is, man, Jason Whitlock, everybody's going at him and he's taking on, all of the challenges and his show is benefiting for it, by the way. Like, they're not just doing this because they like to talk. They're doing it because it also is generating a lot of income and a lot of views. And do not get it twisted. That's part of the game. Do not get it twisted for a second because you're in the business. And if you're not in it to do well and excel and get views and get listeners, then why the hell are you doing it in the first place? You're certainly not go open up a go make it non-for-profit or something like that. But these guys, they're going at it, and I'm enjoying all of it. They're giving us a lot of content, and I'm enjoying every single bit of it. So what I want to know from you guys, what do you think about the comments that Jason Whitlock had to make about Shannon Sharpe's audience, and do you think Shannon Sharpe will ever respond and actually put a name on any of these people that he's talking about? Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comments, and we catch you on the next show. Peace.